1 in 9 American adults is living with kidney disease right now, and most of them have no idea. Not because the signs aren't there. Because the signs are so quiet, so easy to explain away, that by the time most people notice something is wrong, their kidneys have already lost a significant amount of function. Here's why that happens, and here's what your body might be trying to tell you. Your kidneys are 2 fist-sized organs working around the clock, filtering about a half cup of blood every minute, removing waste, balancing fluids, and regulating everything from your blood pressure to your bone health. And here's the part that catches people off guard. Kidneys can lose up to 90% of their function before you feel seriously sick. They don't have pain receptors the way your stomach or your head does. So instead of screaming for help, they whisper. And most of us aren't trained to listen. Let's start with the first whisper. Fatigue that doesn't make sense. Not the tired after a long day kind. The kind where you slept 8 hours and still feel like you're moving through wet sand. When kidneys start struggling, they produce less of a hormone called erythropoietin, which tells your bone marrow to make red blood cells. Fewer red blood cells means less oxygen getting to your muscles and your brain. So you feel drained, foggy, and low on motivation, and it's easy to blame stress or getting older. Most people don't connect exhaustion to their kidneys at all. But here's the surprising part. The second sign shows up somewhere you might not expect. Your skin. When kidneys can't filter waste properly, those toxins build up in your bloodstream, and one of the ways your body tries to deal with that is through your skin. This can show up as persistent itching that no lotion seems to fix, or skin that looks unusually dry or pale. People often try a dozen different moisturizers before it even crosses their mind that this could be coming from the inside. It gets even more interesting when we talk about swelling. If you've ever pressed your finger into your ankle and noticed an indentation that lingers, that's worth paying attention to. Healthy kidneys remove excess sodium and fluid from your body. When they're not working efficiently, that fluid has nowhere to go, so it pools in your legs, ankles, feet, and sometimes around your eyes, especially in the morning. Many people assume this is just from standing too long or eating something salty the night before, and sometimes it is. But when it becomes a regular pattern, it's a sign your kidneys may be asking for backup. Here's where things change. Sign number 4 involves something most people are uncomfortable even talking about. Changes in urination. This one matters more than almost anything else because your urine is essentially a live readout of how your kidneys are functioning. Foamy or bubbly urine can point to excess protein leaking into it, something that shouldn't normally happen. Urinating far more or far less often than usual, especially at night, can also be an early clue. And color changes, particularly urine that looks darker or has a pink or reddish tint, deserve attention too. Most people notice these changes and brush past them within seconds. But your body is trying to hand you information most people simply don't stop to read. But that's only part of the story. There's another reason kidney problems go undetected for so long, and it has to do with blood pressure. Kidneys and blood pressure have a two-way relationship. High blood pressure can damage the tiny blood vessels inside your kidneys over time, and struggling kidneys can, in turn, cause blood pressure to rise even further. It becomes a quiet cycle, one that rarely causes symptoms on its own until the damage is already underway. This is part of why routine blood pressure checks matter so much, even when you feel completely fine. What happens next may surprise you. Difficulty concentrating and trouble sleeping are also connected to kidney health, and this is one of the least talked about signs. Waste buildup in the blood can affect brain function, leading to what people often describe as brain fog. And when kidneys aren't properly filtering, that same imbalance can disrupt how you breathe during sleep, contributing to restless nights. Someone might spend months trying new sleep routines or cutting back on screen time before ever considering their kidneys could be involved. This is the part most people overlook. Loss of appetite paired with a metallic taste in the mouth. As waste products accumulate, they can affect your sense of taste and your desire to eat, sometimes leading to unintentional weight loss. It's subtle at first, a little less hungry than usual. Food tasting slightly off. It's the kind of thing that's incredibly easy to dismiss as stress, a cold, or just an off week. Here's what researchers have found when they looked closer at all of this. According to the CDC and the National Kidney Foundation, the two biggest risk factors for kidney disease are diabetes and high blood pressure, responsible for the majority of cases in the United States. Family history, age, and certain ethnic backgrounds also increase risk. The evidence consistently shows that early detection through simple blood and urine tests dramatically changes outcomes, but the tricky part is that most people don't get tested until symptoms are already noticeable, and by then, kidney function has often already declined. So what can you actually do with this information? Staying hydrated matters, but more isn't always better, so it's not about forcing down excessive water, it's about consistency. Managing blood pressure and blood sugar through diet and movement gives your kidneys less to fight against. Reducing processed foods high in sodium takes pressure off their filtering system. And being mindful with over-the-counter pain relievers like ibuprofen, especially when used frequently over long periods, can make a real difference, since these have been shown to affect kidney function over time. Let's clear up a common myth here, because it trips a lot of people up. Many assume that if they're not diabetic, they're not at risk. But kidney disease can develop from high blood pressure alone, from certain medications, from repeated infections, or sometimes for reasons that aren't fully understood. Another myth is that kidney problems always come with obvious pain. In reality, pain is usually one of the last symptoms to appear, not the first. If there's one thing to take from all of this, it's that your kidneys rarely shout. They tend to whisper for years before anything feels seriously wrong, which means paying attention to small, easy-to-depict changes in your energy, your skin, your swelling, and your bathroom habits isn't overreacting. It's paying attention. None of this replaces a conversation with your doctor, especially if any of these signs sound familiar, and a simple blood or urine test can tell you far more than guessing ever will. So here's a question worth sitting with. When was the last time you actually thought about your kidneys? If today is the first time in a while, let us know in the comments. And if this helped you understand your body a little better, consider subscribing, because there's a lot more your body is trying to tell you that most people never learn to hear.